And welcome into Views from the Sideline. Today it is September 6th, our first episode in September. So welcome in, guys. Welcome, Malik, Joey. What's going on?
Turn my mic on, please. Jeez.
The usual great stuff.
Production quality here.
this is
I'm
how-
pretty sure that happened last week, too.
Oh, my
This is
last
how
week
we
or
start
2
our
weeks ago.
podcast. We're raw.
Yep, that's right.
It's great.
We forget to turn the mics
Now that
on.
I think about it, we probably should have started with the Lions soundbite or something.
I know. We should.
Yeah.
If we had
Oh,
them loaded,
Last minute thought.
Yeah, whatever.
if we had them loaded in, that would have been pretty cool. So yeah, on today's show, we're doing our Southeast Division preview. We have about 6 weeks heading into the NBA regular season opening up, and each week we'll pick another division in the NBA and preview that. But since last week was really the first week of football starting back up, and this week, actually tonight, is the NFL opener, we thought we'd do a little bit college football preview and a little bit of an NFL/Detroit Lions preview. So I'm going to let Joey and Malik run this. College football started this weekend. Michigan takes L 24-17 against Notre Dame. Michigan State looked pretty shaky. It was a close game down
Utah
the stretch.
State.
Yeah, Utah State made them
You
work.
could say Utah State should have won that game.
It was pretty close. But to be fair, Michigan State always seems to come out shaky against their kind of a lesser opponent week one. So what do you guys think? We'll start with Michigan.
So now we're just gonna edit Chris out of this part of the video, and
Just put it on the two of us.
we'll bring him back later. So yeah, Michigan, Notre Dame. This looked like a blowout early. For a while, Notre Dame looked like they were gonna run away with it, and I'm super concerned for Michigan. Like every year since Harbaugh, it's been a lot of pressure on them to come out and win and do well with this team. But holy moly, their offensive line is a problem.
Yeah,
Their quarterback play is a problem too.
We didn't get to
Okay,
see the
listen, so-
quarterback very much because he was rushed every time and couldn't even get off and many passes early on, especially.
As a Michigan fan and a guy that pays attention to every little detail that goes into this team, I didn't have high expectations for this first game. I was okay with them losing this first one because I care more about the Big Ten East, that division, and the conference as a whole. But coming out of this game, it's disheartening to see, really. Jim Harbaugh needs to stop calling the offensive plays. He should have hired an offensive coordinator. I don't know why he didn't. In 15 and 16, his first 2 years as a head coach, he had an offensive coordinator, and there was so much creativity and
Right.
even they had experience
Mhm.
on the offense, but that wasn't the whole thing. The play calling was really good in the first year. There were so many different schemes and plays they ran. The second year, they changed the offense a little bit for Wilton Spate, but it was still, they moved the ball and they put up a lot of points on a lot of teams. The past 2 years, it's just changed. Jim Harbaugh is trying to instill this Stanford team into Ann Arbor, and this isn't 2010. This isn't 2009. Andrew Luck isn't your quarterback.
Right. It's
Toby
different
Gerhart
personnel.
isn't your running back, and you don't have a stud offensive line.
Right.
You can't just force this stuff to happen when you don't have the personnel, like you just said. I am not disappointed with what I saw out of Shea Patterson in this first game.
Yeah, I think he played all right.
Yeah, he's smaller than I thought he was, and I really don't criticize size, so that's not really something I'm mad about. He got hit a lot, and the offensive line didn't give him a lot of time, like you said, so you can't go much. And Shea showed some good things. He throws
Right.
really well outside of the pocket, and he threw some dimes inside the pocket also.
Yeah, his numbers really weren't bad. He had one interception?
Yeah, he had an interception and the sack fumble that ended
Yeah.
the game.
Right. I mean, and in the second half, Michigan came back, and they looked better.
Great return by Ambry Thomas.
Yeah,
he's a heck of an athlete.
Ambry Thomas definitely saved the game
Yeah.
and made it a lot more manageable and look better, at least at the end of the day. But Notre Dame, their defense looked solid.
Their defense looked fantastic.
Their quarterback,
Also helped by Jim Harbaugh, but their defense is so athletic.
right? Their quarterback Wimbush, he wasn't like spectacular, but he controlled the game.
He got better as a passer,
Yeah,
which is a big thing for that Notre Dame team.
Anytime you have a dual threat quarterback as well, that's always hard to defend. And I think Michigan did a pretty good job. And that's like I said, he just controlled the game really well. So once they got ahead, it made it really hard for Michigan to come back. But going forward, Michigan looks like they'll be okay, but I don't think they're going to be able to keep up with Ohio State or Wisconsin. I think those two teams are going to be on the top of the Big Ten by the end of it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, in that Michigan Notre Dame game, our defense adjusted very well in the second half. Notre Dame got off to a perfect start. It was a great game plan by Brian Kelly coming out. It was perfect from start to finish. And yeah, this offense, Jim Harbaugh has to make changes. Him and Pep Hamilton, I don't know which one of them has more control over the offense, but yeah, things need to be changed. And I don't see them really having a chance against either Ohio State or I think Wisconsin. They'd have a better chance because they don't have much. They're a very strong team, but offensively they're not gonna do anything special. And I think Michigan's defense is good enough to hold
Stop
them.
a Heisman running back possibly.
If they keep shoving them up the middle, yeah, because our front seven is
True.
one of the top in the country.
True.
But they're like usual. They're gonna beat the mediocre and bad Big Ten teams. But those really good teams, that Michigan State game in East Lansing is going to be so difficult because in rivalry games, you just throw out the record. It doesn't matter. And Mark D'Antonio is a better head coach in college football than Jim Harbaugh right now.
Right.
So, yeah, it might be like last year, another 8-win season, which would be a disappointment. But if they won 9 games and had more wins than losses in the Big Ten East, I wouldn't be disappointed with the season.
Now, I want to pose a question to both you guys to kind of get your opinion on it. The season's already started off a little bit shaky. What does Harbaugh have to do to not be considered on the hot seat coming out of this year? Because what is this, his 4th season as head coach now, heading into his 4th season? He hasn't produced much of anything.
I wouldn't say that.
Okay, when it results to championships or winning rivalry games, he has not won much of anything.
That is true.
And that's
the rivalry games is the biggest thing to me, but championship
games
wise,
aren't that big too?
I don't criticize him for that. You need
in the end of the game, aren't you trying to play to win the game?
Unless you're Nick Saban or Urban Meyer, I don't see any coach stepping in.
Big Ten championships.
This is the toughest division. Let us forget conference. There are 4 teams in the top 25 in this division. If you expect Jim Harbaugh to just come in and change everything, you're crazy.
Yeah, but it's been 4 years.
Which is
It's been 4 years, and there was all this hype built up into Jim Harbaugh, how he's the savior of Michigan football.
It looked like it at first.
Okay, that's what I'm saying too. Part of it you have to put into account, I feel like, when it comes to judging Jim Harbaugh on his tenure at Michigan.
2015, they win 10 games. 2016, he's one bad snap away from the playoff.
The bad snap happened, though. And
it did. You have tough draws.
So what does Harbaugh have to do to not be considered on the hot seat? You think if he just wins 8 games, loses to Michigan State and Ohio State, he's fine? You don't think there's any question about his job?
I think within the athletic program at Michigan, there's no chance you fire Harbaugh. The fan base, as a Michigan fan, it's kind of weird because Michigan fans annoy me and frustrate me sometimes too because their expectations. I understand old Michigan fans because they've seen greatness and they know what it takes. My age fans, we've never seen a great football team really. I was born the year I was one the year they won a national championship. I don't know anything about that. I've seen a few good Lloyd Carr teams. I haven't seen greatness at Michigan, so I just hope for good teams every year. So
let's just say,
as long as they stay, if they win if they get 8 wins this year, I won't be mad. I'll be disappointed, obviously.
But you wouldn't be barking for his job.
No.
Okay.
I want to give Jim Harbaugh as much time as possible. You can't just give a coach 3 or 4 years and say you didn't win a championship, leave.
Not even win a championship, but like have some form of progress because, like you said, he started off strong, but he's steadily declined a little bit.
But I also, it's hard to believe, but I expected an 8-win season last year because of how much they lost.
Okay.
And I don't understand why people judge him because of last season, because him getting 8 wins out of last season is actually kind of impressive to me, the way the quarterback position fell apart and the turnover he had. But yeah, this is a disappointing start to the season, but you can't just lose all hope just off
Gotcha.
of one game.
Joe,
He definitely needs to stop calling plays on offense.
Joe, what do you think though? What is there any result to this season where you start to kind of call for Harbaugh's head?
I think you think about it. I agree with Malik though. You can't just quit out on it right now, especially for the money that you paid to get him and kind of all the stress that to build this team and all that. I don't think you just get rid of him, but obviously you start questioning things. And I think the biggest thing is the rivalry games. Failing in those is very important, especially in this conference. If you don't win rivalry Big Ten games, you're not going anywhere. Because like Malik said as well, there's 4 teams in the top 25. It's a tough road to get somewhere to do something. And I don't expect a championship out of Michigan anytime soon, but they do need to get better. And it starts, I think, on the offensive end because they've focused so much on their defense. So that's why I think it would be important to get maybe an offensive coordinator.
If they only win 8 games, but they beat 2 big-time Big Ten East teams, they're fine. If they beat Penn State and Michigan State or like Wisconsin and Ohio State, I don't think anybody will be going crazy.
I think
you have to beat at least 2 of those teams.
I think if they beat Ohio State, it doesn't matter
yeah.
no matter what. I think you
He
throw
could-
everything out the door.
They could go into that game 5-6 and beat Ohio State, and everybody would
Exactly.
be like, "Oh, Harbaugh might be on something."
Yeah, I know, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's switch gears here. Let's talk some MSU before we get into some pro football. They played Utah State. They were down late, 31-30 in the fourth quarter. They ended up winning 38-31. Shaky start. What'd you guys see week 1? What do you expect from them going forward?
Honestly, although this is about Michigan State, I think you got to talk more about Utah State and their game plan going into this game. They had a perfect start, just like Notre Dame and Brian Kelly going against the Spartans. Jordan Love, that quarterback at Utah State, was carving up that Michigan State defense. That high speed, just nonstop offense that they were running. Michigan State, they got winded very fast. They really had no time to call anything. They kept getting flags because they weren't mentally strong as well as physically strong in the game. But Michigan State will be fine. I mean, like you said, they've had shaky starts at the beginning of seasons before, and once they start going against those heavyweight Big Ten teams, that's when Mark D'Antonio really gets his players to get into the game.
Yeah, and there was a couple questionable calls in that game as well that Michigan State kind of had to overcome, which obviously you kind of expect going into any game that could happen. You try not to blame the refs, but there were some important ones that were even having commentators and stuff get a little bit confused. Joe Bocci at the end of the game with the late game interception really, really helped out Michigan State in that.
He's one of the best players in the Big Ten.
Yeah, and he's looked really strong for their defense. And I was talking with Ian, our executive director at ONTV here. People tend to forget that this is not the Michigan State team from a few years ago where their defense was outstanding. And it's...
Oh, yeah, they're not at the talent level they were
Their
a few years
personnel
ago.
is just not the same as it was. They had a strong secondary. They had a strong line on defense. That's just not what this team is. It's a more balanced team on both sides, neither one being spectacular. And I think the biggest thing for me is LJ Scott is still not getting over the hump.
Big time offensive line issues for both
Right,
Michigan and Michigan
Part
State.
of it is the offensive line.
It surprised me how weak their offensive line looked. And LJ Scott is a very skilled back at times, but it is weird how he disappears for stretches of games a lot. And this wasn't a very good start for him.
Right. And you would think
Connor Hayward looked better than him at points.
Being a veteran on this team for a long time, I keep expecting LJ Scott to come out and just be this every down back, and it's just
everybody does. Some people have him as a dark horse Heisman candidate.
Something is just not working out there, and I don't know if it's the combination of him and the offensive line, because like we said, it is a little bit struggle at the moment. But I agree. I think Michigan State in the end will be okay. D'Antonio's a fantastic coach. He proves it every year, and he gets more out of this team than anybody could, I think. So I think they'll end up being fine. Lewerke is still there. He looks all right. He's doing pretty good.
That pick six in the fourth quarter was, that was very shaky.
Right.
I don't expect him to make those type of mistakes.
Right. Especially with the talent level that he showed last year.
Yeah.
I think that they'll be okay, and they get another kind of a warm-up game against Arizona State next week.
I
So
don't think this is a warm up.
well,
You big
I don't
on the
think this is
ASU
a
hype train,
warm-up.
Malik?
Listen,
Oh.
N'Keal Harry might be the best receiver in the country, and their quarterback is a very underrated Pac-12 quarterback that nobody should sleep on. And a lot of people are disrespecting Herm Edwards, but I think he's a better fit for college than the NFL.
You know, we save the hot
Yeah,
take
I
for
agree,
Joe
man.
usually at the end of the show. Malik, you want to go on a limb here?
it won't be easy. That's all I'm saying.
well,
Michigan
no,
State should win the game.
it's
Okay,
college. It's college
alright.
football. No game should be easy.
exactly.
But a lot of
Um,
them are.
Well, Appalachian State every year proves
Why-
somebody
the
wrong.
Big Ten teams should not schedule
Appalachian
Appalachian
Especially
State.
now that
They
Appalachian
really
State
should
is a
not.
D1 team, a
Right.
FBS team.
Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, I think both teams will be both Michigan and Michigan State will be okay, but I don't think they're gonna make any runs this year.
Lewerke and those receivers are going to save a lot of games for that team
Yeah.
because those receivers are big time.
Right.
They really are. That defense has a lot of growing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one team I am really worried about, these Detroit Lions. I'm usually not big into judging a team off of preseason.
You
But
can't judge a team off.
I'm saying I'm usually not. But man, do they look rusty, not into it, and just I don't know, man. There's something about this team that I'm not really buying into.
I don't care about the preseason either. I don't
Okay,
care about
well-
it in basketball. I don't care about it in football.
Well, I think basketball doesn't have as much of an effect. 'Cause You're
Right.
playing like 3 games in
yeah.
opposed to 82. In football, you're playing 4 compared to 16.
but you also don't play your
I know, I
starters
know.
like almost at all. You guys don't don't believe in new coach, new Lions?
I'm gonna run down. Okay,
I don't believe in Matt Patricia at all right now. I'm going to be
Wow.
honest.
I agree with Malik. I'm gonna run down a few issues I have with this team, and you guys let me know what you feel about that. All right. Through the preseason, the issues that I have with this team is their offensive line does not look good.
Which doesn't make sense to me. They've
'Cause-
continuously
I know.
drafted offensive linemen, and they've always been they look good in college, and they seem like they're going to work out. Somehow they don't.
The running game is a little bit shaky to me. I like Karan Johnson. Amir Abdullah does not look that good. Coaching, like we talked about, seems a little shaky. There's a little bit of issues, especially in the Tampa Bay game, with Matt Patricia down the stretch. A little clock mismanagement there, and they just, like I said, they don't seem to have an edge. And I feel like they're an average team. They look like an 8-8 team to me, especially with how brutal the schedule is this year.
they look like a 6-10 team to me.
Okay, you said it.
I mean, first of all, there's a very short list of Patriots assistant coaches that have come out and been very successful in the NFL. There have been quite a few head coaches that have come from under Bill Belichick and haven't succeeded. Matt Patricia, I don't like his body language. I don't like there's not much I like about Matt Patricia. And each game, it's the preseason, like you said, but each game it just seemed more and more like this isn't gonna end well. Cause the personnel is okay.
Yeah, there's not. I mean,
I just
outside of
don't-
Stafford, key receivers. If you have one major injury,
Oh yeah,
this
it's
team's winning
done.
3 games, 4 games.
Exactly, yeah.
Stafford's out. They are a 2-win team.
This is good. This could be like the year Mikel LaShore was the starting running back,
Yeah.
Be
and they
prepared.
won like 4 games.
Be prepared to see all 4 running backs come Monday night. I
Is Zach
I
Zenner
think it
still on the
could
team?
happen.
I think isn't
Uh,
he? Zach, I'm pretty sure
I
Zach's
thought I
still
saw him in
think
the
he's
preseason.
Fullback. I think he's
He's
a
a
fullback.
fullback now.
Yeah, I think.
put on some weight. Big
Because
I'm not surprised Matt Patricia did that.
because they have Kerryon Johnson, LeGarrette Blount, Theo Riddick, and Amir Abdullah.
I think
yeah.
Carrion's going to be kind of that every down back. And
I
then
don't think so.
You think it'll be LeGarrette?
LeGarrette will be the short yard.
No,
I
but
was going to say
I
LeGarrette
think
short yard.
short yard guy.
I think Carryon's going to be, first and second down. Theo's going to be the passing downs, and LeGarrette's going to punch it in.
So where is the space for
And
Amir Abdullah?
Amir
Oh,
Abdullah,
Amir,
I think they're going to try to throw him in every once in a while just to see.
I was surprised he wasn't. I heard there
Matt
was
Patricia-
rumors he was going to be cut.
Patricia
Yeah,
will probably
he-
try to use him like they use Deion Lewis.
He's definitely on the
New
edge,
England.
but I think they're going to try all 4 at some point. The biggest question, though, for me is obviously the defense. Now, years ago,
You have a shutdown Pro Bowl corner.
yes,
But besides that,
that is our saving grace is that our secondary, we re-signed everybody. We got everybody back. But that line and our linebackers, not so great.
Didn't they have the least sacks in the league last year? Like the least pressure at some point?
I don't know. And I don't know.
They cut Anthony Zettel yesterday.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah, but
news.
who they brought in? Okaro or
They did get Aguara
Aguara.
from the Giants, which he doesn't really have much on his resume. I guess he was hurt last year, is what I read, I think. So people still believe in him. The signing that I liked, though, is they got linebacker Marquise Flowers from the Patriots. Now,
of course he's from the Patriots.
In his limited time, he's looked pretty good. So he might be a little bit of a saving grace at linebacker. But that defensive line is a little bit scary, similar to the offensive line. And Ziggy Ansah has been like our star defender for a while. And I just haven't been as impressed with him as of recent. So that's a little
coming off of that injury it seems like it took a while for him to really get back into the swing.
So that's a little concerning. So it's both the defensive and offensive lines. Now the offensive line, at least we drafted a new center,
Frank Ragnow, yeah.
And hopefully
but for most of the time he wasn't even playing center in the preseason.
He wasn't. I didn't watch preseason.
He was playing.
I watched like 5 minutes of the Browns game.
Yeah, he was playing off center. And they gradually moved him the last game against the Browns.
Okay. Well, I think that's eventually where they want to put him, is at center.
Yeah, but I don't know why they didn't just play him at center to start with.
Because then they want to have Glasgow and TJ Lang on the outsides of Ragnow. Hopefully TJ Lang can stay healthy. I think having a veteran on that pretty young offensive line is important. And I actually think this team is going to be better than a lot of people are doubting them. Maybe I'm being one of those hyped up Lions kind of fans, but I don't think so. Like, I think people are giving a little too much credit to the NFC North, to be completely honest.
It's a good division, man.
I think
it might be one of the best in football.
I think everybody is better in the NFC North, yes, but I think they're getting a little bit overhyped. We don't know how the Vikings are going to work out with Dalvin Cook coming off injury. They have Kirk Cousins now, so that's a new offense. And
that's not a new offense.
That's just a better quarterback.
I'm just saying for him. That's a question. Case Keenum played pretty good last year.
Come on. You cannot.
Tell me what Case Keenum is going to do.
I'm just saying, like,
stop.
What does Kirk Cousins have on his resume necessarily?
A lot more than Case Keenum.
I don't know.
A consistently good quarterback in a horrible organization.
Case Keenum got to play in the playoffs.
In a really good organization.
I'm just saying.
He's good. Case Keenum played really good. I gave him all the credit.
Right. But I'm just saying we don't know.
I believe in Kirk Cousins.
I think the Vikings are going to be a big-time team this year.
Green Bay as well. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the league. And
behind Tom Brady.
I think people sleep on Chicago, though. I know you're going to say you think they're overhyping them, Chicago. I think people
speaking
sleep
of that,
on
Khalil Mack to the Bears.
But I think
Khalil Mack to the Bears. Mitch Trubisky, I feel like he could step up this year. There's a lot of young guys on that Bears.
You have Jordan Howard as a consistent guy.
Exactly. I don't know. I feel like the Lions might be
the
bottom dwellers of the NFC North.
I don't think so. I don't think
once again.
I do think the Bears are going to be overhyped because of the Khalil Mack signing. I think he helps, obviously. But I think that team is still just a little bit too young. And Green Bay, people have been giving, even myself, whenever Jimmy Graham moves somewhere, he gets hyped up. Jimmy Graham's not what he used to be.
Well, here's the thing with Green Bay. If they have Aaron Rodgers, I'm picking them to win the division.
He's still a good red zone.
The Lions have had Green Bay's number the last couple of years, though. And they played pretty well against the Vikings. So that's something to watch out for.
Didn't
They
the
played
Vikings
pretty
beat
well.
them twice last year, or did we beat them once?
I think we beat them.
I thought the Vikings won twice, but
I might be wrong. But anyway, the Lions get 2 games to get going. Like if they lose either one of these first 2 games, season's over. I'll be right with you guys.
They need to win this first game.
But playing the Jets and the 49ers,
you gotta beat Sam Darnold.
The Jets and the 49ers, those should be easy wins. Then they go play the Patriots, which whatever they do against the Patriots is fine. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Then they start to get into division play. Division play will be really important. I think they need to win both games against the Bears and the Vikings and Green Bay.
You got to split.
Obviously, they're not going to win Week 17 at Lambeau. It's just not going to happen.
Well, it depends on the factors. If Green Bay is locked up a spot,
right? There's
factors that will play
situations.
Into that. Yeah.
And then they get to play the Seahawks, Panthers, and Rams. And I think the Seahawks and the Panthers are at home, and the Lions usually do play well at home. And I always take into the Matthew Stafford getting some of those fourth quarter comebacks. So I just take that into account. I don't think the team's going to be great. I don't know if they're going to even make the playoffs, but I think they could be 9-7.
All right.
I've been predicting 7-9 for the past.
So you're locking in 7-9 as your Lions prediction?
Yeah, I'm going 7-9.
What do you got, Joe?
9-7.
And I'm going to fit right in the middle there, 8-8. That's been my prediction all summer long, so I'm going to stick with it.
And they're going to need 10 to make the playoffs.
They're not making the playoffs.
I don't think they have enough to get over 8-8, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they could.
I think I'm on the high end at 8-8.
I think they could maybe figure something out and get 9-7.
I mean,
because I think there are some some tough games that they have, but they also have very, very winnable games as well.
If Kerryon Johnson can just start off and be the guy for the team, I don't see it happening, but that could really turn.
I like the idea of just having LeGarrette Blount to be able to punch things in and not having to rely on Stafford.
Yeah,
it gives you another
in
option.
Goal line situations. So yeah, I think that'll be.
I'm a little worried week 1 though. I mean, Jets are my second team.
Oh my gosh, you got to get
Sammy
off that
D.
team. Geno
Sammy
Smith
D.
is gone.
I know Geno's gone, but Sam Darnold, the savior,
Oh my
youngest
gosh.
QB since Drew Bledsoe to start week 1.
Nobody knows where the heck Chris got his Jets love. But
Geno Smith, day 1.
are you kidding?
No, they're my second team.
no,
The
he's
Jets.
I'm
he's
100%
serious.
Are you serious
I'm
about Geno
100
Smith?
Yeah, I love Geno Smith
Yeah,
back
he's-
when he was on the
he's
Jets.
serious.
When he was actually,
I wasn't kidding.
I'm actually Jets are actually my second
Yeah,
team.
it doesn't make any sense.
Lions are 1. Jets are
You
2.
have no explanation for loving Geno Smith in the.
I have no. I have no
You have
explanation.
none.
I just have this.
That's wow.
Yeah, I don't know. Gino, shout out Gino.
Tell
If you ever
me.
want to come on the podcast, man, we got you. But
Geno, I know you're not going to hear this, and it's fine if you don't come.
No. Malik's a hater.
But I'm sure he might have a lot of time on his hand though. So come on down, sure.
All right, let's switch gears now. Let's talk about. We'll touch again. I feel like for the next couple weeks, I want to keep touching on football. Kind of give our kind of state of college football, state of Michigan, Michigan State, and the Lions, especially early on here. But we're gonna switch into first of a 6-part series of an NBA division preview for the 2018-19 season. Up first, it's the Southeast Division. That is the Atlanta Hawks, the Charlotte Hornets, Miami Heat, Washington Wizards, and Charlotte Hornets. So
Basically, the most unexciting division in
Yeah.
the league. That's why we
Exactly.
chose them first.
yeah, get them out of the
A
way.
division full of in 3 or 4 years, maybe.
But we say that every 3
And
or 4
one
years.
team, like,
No.
they're going to make the playoffs, but
So let's start with the Atlanta Hawks, the bottom dweller of the NBA, essentially. Kind of give you the rundown of their summer and what they did last year. In 2017-18, they went 24-58, finished a classy 15th in the Eastern Conference. They drafted Trae Young, number 5.
a graceful 15.
They drafted Kevin Huerter, number 19. They signed Alex Len to a 2-year contract. They traded for Jeremy Lin. They traded for Justin Anderson. They acquired 2 first-round picks and acquired 4 second-round picks. Their subtractions were Dennis Schroeder, traded to OKC, Mike Muscala, and Malcolm Delaney. Now, here's a question I want to pose to you before you kind of give your opinions of this team. Are the Hawks trending up, or are they trending down heading into the 18-19 season?
You want me to go? Okay. You want to go first?
He's pondering.
I would
Yeah.
say that they're going to move laterally because they got younger, but I think these younger players are going to take time to develop. So I guess you could technically say that they're on the rise, but not really. They
Hawks on the rise.
They
I get
lost their best player, who was Dennis Schroeder, and they replaced him with
it. Linsanity.
all these role players and younger guys.
But he was going to go sooner or later.
Yeah, he
right.
was on the
yeah,
outs.
he
Yeah.
definitely wanted out. And, they have a young core for the future.
I mean, they have one of the most underrated players in the NBA.
Yeah, I know,
Torian Prince.
on your list.
An underrated player.
He is-
Just an underrated player.
He
He's
is.
a
just one
solid
underrated
player. He's a solid player.
Malik, are the Hawks trending up or down for you heading into the season?
I think the Hawks are trending up. It's not a hard up. It's a very soft up.
Slightly
Yeah.
almost as lateral as Joey's.
They did good in the draft. Once Kevin Huerter gets healthy, I think he'll be a really good, consistent shooter for them. Omari Spellman was a good pickup for me, too. He's undersized, but he plays really hard, really athletic, good shooter. And then they have their point guard of the future, they hope, Trae Young.
Oh, he is.
They got Alex Len.
He's going to be a boomer bust
that's
kind of guy.
I know.
He's been really disrespected because he was a top pick, and most people didn't understand why he was a top pick. But he's not bad. He's an okay center that can give you
He's a solid
good
backup.
minutes. Yeah, I like what they got rid of, and I think they're going in a positive direction right now.
Now, that's the same way I see it. My answer to this question is both at the same time because they're going to be worse
So-
record-wise
So
this year.
laterally. They're moving laterally.
Kind of. Yeah, I guess, Joe. Whatever. You're right. But they're going to lose more games this year, but that is to the benefit of them long term. They want to lose games. They want to do the process 2.0 from what it seems like, but the sequel's not always as good as the original.
Yeah.
That's my issue with it.
They'll have fans in the seats though.
Yeah, especially
Those-
drafting Trae
those
Young
fans
is
are
huge.
coming. Yeah, those fans are coming to see Trae Young.
All right, now why are you excited about the Hawks this year? We kind of touched on it, but why are you excited about
I'm
them?
excited because you get to see Vince Carter dunking in the pregame warm-ups.
Vince Carter, baby.
People are going to be there early. The older fans are going to want to see Vince Sanity still doing windmills.
Joey's going to be courtside when they come to the, to LCA, get his jersey signed.
You'll get to see the very last of that jump he still has.
I can't believe he still has it.
It's ridiculous. He's taking really great care of his body.
Yep.
But the exciting part is really the underrated player Torian Prince. You get
Thank
to see
you.
you get to see a young guy getting better.
That's your most
He's one of the-
exciting part about the Hawks?
I said an exciting part.
Oh,
An
okay.
exciting part.
All right.
Vince Carter
Because-
was the main point.
Yeah.
You get to see what he averaged 14 last year.
Yeah.
He'll probably jump up to what 17.
I think he's
18
going to be
this
the
year.
main factor of their offense.
Yeah, he's only going to get better.
I don't think they're going to.
What?
I think they're going
Who's
to run
the
their
main part of
offense.
their offense?
You have Trey Young on your team.
He's a rookie. You're going
I
to.
forgot,
think-
I forgot
you
Ken
think he-
Bazemore's on the team.
you think-
Ken Bazemore is probably going to be the number one.
I think
guy.
it'll be Torian.
Trey won't be the number one guy to start.
They traded to get Trey Young, who is an offensive juggernaut. Why is he not going to be the offensive
Torian's
focus?
going to get the most shots.
No way. Trey Young
No,
won't.
Trey's gonna get the
Trey
most shots.
Young won't even allow that.
Watch.
He will.
Watch.
It's not that he won't allow it.
I cannot wait
He
for
won't allow it.
He's not a selfish point guard.
No, but I'm just saying he gets his shots.
Yes, he would. Yes,
for
he
the
gets
first
shots.
month of the year. I cannot wait to show you the shot charts and how Torian's going to have.
My most exciting part about this team is Vince
Carter?
Carter, Jeremy Lin, and Kevin Herter.
I forgot to bring up Jeremy Lin. Yeah,
Those three.
Him being the backup point guard is really good. He's a really good
I
backup
wonder if they
point
might
guard.
start those two together. I
They
heard
could
they
try
might.
and do it.
They
I
can
heard they
try
might.
it. It kind of worked
Who
with
do
the
you-
Nets, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, because I mean, for one game,
Yeah, but-
have and not even a
hey,
complete
he
game.
was having a pretty good game though.
But then you bring off Torian Prince as a 6-man.
well,
Torian
Torian could be small forward. He's a small forward.
But Kent Bazemore is the two.
Kent won't start over Torian. Kent's older. They were looking to move him anyways in the offseason. And with
Kent
Atlanta,
has been their guy for a while.
well, with Atlanta trying to go younger, they're not gonna supplant a guy that's trying to come up and who is coming up. Torian's a better player than Kent Bazemore right now.
And if they start Jeremy Lin and Trey Young, Torian Prince is not going to be the offensive focus.
Yeah, he will.
No way.
Sleeping on my guy. All right, season outlook for 2018-19. They're going to be the worst team in the East, in my opinion.
Worse than Brooklyn?
Yeah, they will more than likely be the worst team in the NBA next season.
Worse than Brooklyn.
Brooklyn's got some talent. I think people are sleeping on them
They
a little
do.
bit. D'Angelo Russell, Spencer Dinwiddie, Rondae Hollis-Jefferson. I mean, we'll get to Brooklyn when we get to our Atlantic Division preview, but I think they actually could win a few games. I got Atlanta going 20-62 this year, 15th in the East, last in the NBA. But they'll be exciting. They got John Collins, they got Trae Young, they got Torian. They'll
I don't
be
know
fun
if
to
that's
watch. New head
exciting.
coach Lloyd Pierce. But yeah,
I have them at 22-60. So very
we're-
similar.
Yeah, we're right there.
Very similar. I have the same sort of idea that they are going to be worse to get better. And I'm more excited about Kevin Herter. I'm excited to see what he can do in the NBA level.
He's a knockdown shooter.
So, and especially if he's healthy, Torian Prince is going to be like the fourth option.
Oh my gosh.
I can't wait.
That's just pure disrespect.
We're going to have
if
to start,
Kevin Herter is healthy, he's
we're
the
going to have
fourth
to have a
option.
special segment just for the Hawks this year.
So we got a
Soren
Budenholzer
with
guy
the
and a
Hawks.
Kevin Herter guy. You're
That's
all
right.
in on Kevin Herter.
I am.
We'll see about that.
All right, Malik, what's your season outlook for these guys? For the Birds?
19 wins.
19, man. We're all on
Yes.
kind of the same page here.
I don't think they're gonna beat many teams, but I think they'll look really exciting at times.
So you think they'll be the worst team in the NBA as well? At 19
not-
wins, you
I'm
can't
not
really get
sure.
much worse.
there are teams that could be worse than 19.
I think
don't
at the
know.
bottom of the East, they have chance to win games here and there.
Yeah.
Because the East is so weird. Like it's pretty competitive at the top, and it just falls off like a rock. So
Yep. All right.
I'll have to wait till later to see if I think they're gonna be the worst team in the NBA.
Give yourself a little bit of
Yeah.
footage on the team. I get it. All right, transitioning to our next team in the Southeast Division. I think this is a Joey team, the Charlotte Hornets.
it is, but not as much anymore.
Yeah. Their key additions, last season they went 36-46, finished 10th in the East for the second straight year. Key additions this offseason, they hired James Borrego from San Antonio, their new head coach. They added Miles Bridges in the draft, former MSU Spartan, added Devontae Graham in the second round, traded for Bismack Biyombo, and acquired 4 second-round picks. Their subtractions, Steve Clifford's out. Steve's in Orlando. They lost Michael Carter-Williams, and they lost Dwight Howard. Are the Hornets trending up, or are they trending down, Malik?
I think the Hornets are trending down.
Yeah, I agree with you.
This is a team that is stuck in the middle. And like we've said several times, that is the worst place to be, honestly. You want to be horrible so you can get a top pick, or really good and you make the playoffs and try to make a run. To me, this is a team that's going to stay around, hover around the 9-10 area. I don't see them making the playoffs. They added Miles Bridges, a good young guy. If Malik Monk stays healthy, he's going to be pretty good. I like their young players, but besides the fact that Kemba Walker is an all-star and one of my favorite players in the league, I don't really see them doing much.
There's just not enough talent around him for me.
Not at
personally.
all. Not at all.
Joey,
Dwight Howard was the second best player on that team last year.
I'm not going to
That's
give my
right.
opinion on Dwight Howard. Joey, are they trending up or down?
And he's gone.
They're trending down. I think they're gonna still be. They'll win some games mostly because of Kemba Walker. I think some of their young guys are pretty good, like Malik said. But the biggest problem for them trending down is that it's going to be almost impossible for them to retain Kemba Walker this offseason. He's pretty much gone. And
You think? He's been saying he wants to stay in Charlotte.
right. But
I mean, most players say that, though.
I think
Yeah.
as soon as you see what the offers start looking like and who wants to play with you,
Especially closer to the deadline.
I think he's gonna realize that maybe he should get out because it's not getting any better. And I think Miles Bridges is going to be a good NBA talent, but I think it's going to take him some time to
I
adjust.
agree with that.
And I also don't see him being the franchise player of the future, which if Kemba leaves, he's kind of like in that role, but I just don't see it happening. So I think they're at the point where they need to kind of reevaluate and maybe start to blow it up again, because Michael Jordan is not the greatest of GMs, in my opinion.
Well, that's why he owns the team.
But I think Charlotte's going to still be okay. I have them at 34 and 48.
hey,
and
we're
that's,
kind of holding off here on the predictions, Joe. You're jumping the gun there a little bit.
well, I thought we all kind of talked about them already, so
No,
I'm just throwing mine
right,
out there.
We
but,
got him at 34.
34 and 48, which maybe is a little bit high, but I think
it's the
think
East.
they'll sneak out some wins.
Yeah, I'm down on, like everybody else here, I'm down on the Hornets. And to me, when we get closer to the trade deadline, I'm not sure Kemba finishes the season as a Charlotte Hornet. With what they've done this offseason.
Tony Parker.
Oh, yeah, I forgot they added Tony Parker,
That's
too. That's
Tony
a
Parker
big
was there.
addition.
That shows where they're going.
Yeah, they didn't add much. They lost a big amount because regardless of my opinion of Dwight Howard, he did contribute a lot to their
Yeah.
offense and to their defense and to how they play the game. So I'm down on them, and I'm not sure Kemba finishes the year in Charlotte. And Joey kind of answered this question for me, but I'm going to still pose it to you guys. Are they a possible playoff team this year? Can they sneak into the playoffs? Kind of that 8th seed, Malik?
I don't think so. Like we said, the talent around Kemba isn't very strong. They have some good young talent, but it's not all there. I think the biggest reason for fans to show up to Hornets games this season is the combination of Kemba and Malik Monk. I think Malik Monk has a chance to really explode and be like a 16, 17 point per game scorer.
You think
'Cause
this year?
He has all the talent you need. As long as he stays healthy, he has everything you need to be a scorer of that caliber. He can
I
shoot.
still think, though,
He's very athletic. He has a really good all-around offensive game.
I still think though that Nicholas Batum is actually going to be a big part of this offense. I know he's
I
not.
forgot he was
I think
still
he
on
might.
the team.
I think he might. I mean, I feel like he's injured every year.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
feel
like,
like-
if he stays healthy, I think he's still a pretty talented player. I know
He
he's
is,
not what
yeah.
his contract is worth at the moment, but people forget about that he's still on this team. Marvin Williams is still on the team.
Dwayne Bacon is a good young player.
Yeah, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. So they have some pretty okay role players. They're just not going to be anything
but the
special.
thing is, they're solid role players.
right, and they're stuck on contracts.
Nick Batum isn't what he used to be.
Yeah,
He's
he's
still
not.
solid.
He's not. Age just kind of caught up with him a little bit. 2018-19, my Hornets season outlook, to me, They're a bottom 5 team in the East. There's too many questions surrounding Kemba and kind of what the front office is doing to build this roster. And I'm not sure MJ and Mitch Kupchak know really what's going on or what direction they want to move into. I got them at 30 wins, 52 losses, 11th in the Eastern Conference.
That's lower than what I think.
Well, that's because my bold take is Kemba is traded
By
the deadline.
By the deadline? Okay.
And once he's traded, that team's going to tank.
I have him going 33 and 49.
Especially if the Lakers are close to the playoffs or like up there in the
Well, you're going to tell
playoff
me
seedings.
they don't trust Lonzo?
I'm just saying. Could be a possibility.
Those ball boys, come on now.
The sarcasm is in here today.
Or
Always in
or
here.
if the Pistons are playing really well, you need to take a look.
Please. I don't think we have
We don't have
assets,
anything
to
but
offer. But please get Kemba here.
Just throw something out there.
All right, next up, those Miami Heat. They went 44-38 last year. A surprising 6th in the Eastern Conference. I thought that was a surprise to me. Now, their key addition this offseason, wait for it, brace yourself. Duncan Robinson signed a 2-way contract for this team. That is their addition this offseason.
One of the most positive things coming out of Summer League.
Exactly. I mean, he was good. Don't get me wrong, but
Great
they
story.
did absolutely nothing.
Yep.
Their subtractions, they declined Jordan Mickey's team option. Today, Udonis Haslem re-upped for a vet minimum deal, so Udonis is best.
That's a big one
He's
right
back.
there.
Huge.
I don't know
He's
about
got a lot left in the tank.
Wow.
Yeah.
For his 16th season.
He's been in Florida his entire
I don't
life.
think
That
he's-
is. I think he should get some kind of
Oh, I'm sure he'll
trophy
get,
or medal for
he's
that.
going to get like a street named after him or
He's
something.
been in. He's
You know,
Florida
he
forever.
hasn't even really seen the floor in like the last 4 years.
He's like their strength trainer.
yeah. He's like Kendrick Perkins.
He's probably
Yeah.
gonna join the staff once he retires.
Oh,
like
100%. Yeah,
Juwan.
100%. Shane Battier, those kind of guys. But Dwayne Wade is yet to resign. Now, my suspicion is that he will resign one more year with Miami.
That China threat.
But
That dreaded China threat.
it's still yet to be seen. There hasn't been an announcement yet. So, really, they're putting a lot of pressure on Duncan to step up this year, guys. But are the Heat trending up or down heading into the season? Joe?
I want to say they're trending down. The big factor here, though, is Hassan Whiteside. Which one are we going to see? We're going to see, the 15-16 Hassan Whiteside? Or last year's Hassan Whiteside that just disappeared and became Andrew Bynum, Roy Hibbert type center?
Hassan said he wants to shoot threes now. You buying that?
If Andre Drummond's trying to shoot threes and now Hassan Whiteside's trying to shoot threes,
Something wrong.
we got
is happening
issues.
in the NBA.
Yeah, we need to scale these stretch guys a
Yeah.
little bit back, a little bit.
Not everybody needs to be a stretch. Something.
But the Heat core is still there from last year. They're still pretty young. Josh Richardson, one of my underrated players.
I think they have
only
one of the
getting
best.
better.
They have one of the best young cores in the league.
Really?
Their young core is productive.
Who, though?
they
Josh
don't-
Richardson?
Richardson, Tyler Johnson, Justice Winslow is a really
I'm not a
good
fan
defender.
of Justice. Offensively, he showed nothing.
Of course, he's not what everybody thought he'd be, but he does his job when
He's
he
in the
comes
Stanley
in.
Johnson class.
Bam
for me.
Adebayo is coming into
I
his
agree.
second year.
I like Bam.
I have a lot of faith in Bam Adebayo. Hassan Whiteside is going to play good during the regular season.
Uh,
He's going to play good during the regular season.
Yeah. Possibly.
Kelly Olynyk is probably gonna. I feel like still gonna play the most
He's a
minutes
good
at
player.
center.
He's slowly improving.
I like
He's
Kelly.
looking pretty good.
Yeah.
But if Hassan's not starting over him, you have some problems.
Right.
So you got him trending up or down, Malik?
I have him trending up.
Really? Okay.
Like I believe in their young guys. Josh Richardson, Tyler Johnson, Bam Adebayo. I know they're all going to show up. Dwayne Wade, if he plays for the Heat, he's not going to play as many minutes. But when he comes in those fourth quarters,
Yeah.
of course he's going to explode. He's going to win games for Miami. Having his Deion Waiters back is going to help a lot.
I like Dion.
Goran Dragic is one of my favorite guys in the league. I
Goran,
think this is a good team, and Eric Spoelstra is a really good coach.
as we're talking about the Heat too, there were some rumblings that Goran Dragic may be on the trading block, or Miami's looking to see what they could get for him.
That would be disappointing.
That'd be awesome. It's Detroit. I don't know. I feel like Goran could be a good fit.
I'd love to have him
here.
here. I'd love to have him here.
But yeah, I have Miami trending down. To me, I'm not a fan of their young core as much. I'm not really the biggest fan of Tyler Johnson. I love Josh Richardson. I like Bam Adebayo. Not that high in Justice. I feel like he's in that Stanley Johnson class. So to me, there's not as much youth, and most of their useful players are older. Goran's past 30. James Johnson's another year older. Kind of their main guys. Hassan Whiteside, I'm not sold on completely. I think that dude might.
I'm not
I think
a fan
he got
of
his
Hassan
check.
either.
He's out.
I'm not a fan of Hassan either.
Kelly Olynyk, he's getting older. I think he hit 30 this year. He might be he might be 29, but I don't know. I have him trending slightly downward. Last question for the Miami Heat.
Also, Wayne Ellington is a really consistent shooter. And
Yeah,
played
but
really
he's
good for
older
them
too.
last
That's
year.
yeah.
I think they have the type of players that are old, but because of the way they play, they're not gonna just like fade away.
Yeah, and that kind of leads to my next question here. Do the Heat make it back to the playoffs for the third straight year?
I think they could slide in to 7 or 8, maybe even 6, because those last few spots in the East are gonna be a fight, and Miami usually shows up in that fight and pulls out a playoff spot.
What is your Heat season outlook for this season?
I think I can give them a good 47,
47.
46 or 47 wins.
You got so you got them
Wow.
improving this year. All right.
Wow.
So what do you think? Like
And
6
I
seed,
have a
5
lot of-
seed?
A lot of it goes to Eric Spoelstra too.
Yeah.
He brings the best out of those players on his team, and I think he'll just continue to do it.
Do you think
And
they'll?
if they stay healthy,
Yeah.
I'll give them 47.
Do you think they push for home court advantage in the playoffs? Are they a top 4 seed for you? 47 wins. That's pushing top 4. You think you're more of a 5 or 6 seed?
But he does have
Now that
Atlanta
I'm-
doing
now-
worse.
now that I'm thinking
so
of-
that pushes more
Yeah.
wins to.
Now- I'm gonna go back to 40. I'm gonna go to 45 wins actually.
Okay. All right.
47 is a bit much, but still, like I said, those last 3 spots in the East, it's always a toss up, and Miami finds a way.
Yeah.
They always play very well in the last
It's that
month of the
coaching.
season.
It's the coaching.
Exactly.
I agree with that. Joe, Heat season outlook.
I think it's their players too. James Johnson, Josh Richardson, Dragic to an extent. They're all pretty gritty players.
Yeah.
I have them at 40 and 42. I have them falling off, but I do agree with Malik. I think they're one of those fringe East teams that could be from 6 to 9 seed. They
Yeah.
could be anywhere in there, and I'm not sure. So 40 and 42 is probably lowballing it, actually. I think they'll probably be close to where they were last year, but they might just miss the playoffs.
The
I-
main,
My bad. Go ahead,
the
Malik.
main reason why I trust them is because of how they've played at the end of seasons the past 2 years and how they always find a way to get in.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. I agree completely with Joey. I have them going 40 and 42,
Wow.
finishing 8th in the Eastern Conference, getting into the playoffs just based off that veteran leadership and that core and how they play at the end. Injuries, I think, might play a factor this year, especially with their main guys playing a lot of minutes. Moving on to the other team in Florida, the Orlando Magic. 25 and 57 last year, 14th in the Eastern Conference. Their key additions this offseason, they brought in Steve Clifford as their head coach. They retained Aaron Gordon, 4 years, $80 million. They traded for Timofey Mozgov, Jerry and Grant, Jarrell Martin, and drafted Mo Bamba. Key subtractions, Frank Vogel is out. Mario Hazonia is in New York. Bismack is gone. And Shelvin Mack is gone. I pose the question for a 4th time. Are the Magic trending up or are they trending down?
They're trending up. Only slightly again. I think getting back Aaron Gordon was huge. I think the Mo Bamba draft was good. I've said it before. I'm high on Bamba. They still have Vucevic, which he might be on his way out. It depends on how their season goes, I think. But they have good young talent. Jonathan Simmons showed up last year. He's improving.
Jonathan Isaac.
And yep, Jonathan Isaac looked pretty good in the preseason.
He's in that Giannis Antetokounmpo mold,
But
that
he's
young,
still-
lanky.
He's still kind of unproven.
Yeah.
So him and Bamba are big keys. And I don't really believe in Jerry and Grant. I think they still need a guard.
I agree with
I
you.
know they have DJ Augustine there to,
but
kinda
he's-
be-
Brought
he's
in
getting
Isaiah
older, too.
Briscoe from overseas.
Oh,
But-
man.
Oh boy.
but
Oh boy.
their guard play is pretty bad. And like we've talked about, Evan Fournier kind of being stuck
Yeah, he's kind of stuck.
and
He's-
not really gotten
Yeah.
any better. I think that they're going to be
He was on my underrated list, so I think he did get better.
yeah. they're going to be okay. I think they're trending upwards though, but just slightly.
Malik, what do you got? Trending up or down?
I don't have them trending up or down. I just think
Lateral?
I think they are stuck,
Stuck.
and I don't know how they can get out of the hole that franchise has been in for a very long time. I think they could keep getting top picks year after year,
And not.
and I think that they're going to be stuck between 20 and 25 wins for a while, and I don't know what's gonna
Even if
get
they're
them
worse
over.
in the NBA and then they go and get RJ Barrett this offseason, you think
RJ
they'll-
Barrett's good. I think he's big. He's a big time player coming into the NBA next
I
year.
think that would help
If
their
they
team
got a
a
guy
lot.
like RJ, that would change my
Yeah.
mind. But that's
But
that's a big if.
That's
Right.
exactly.
No,
That's
I
a big
know.
if.
I got the Magic trending up. I'm irrationally high on these guys. Aaron Gordon's my most.
I'm happy you said irrationally.
Yes, Aaron Gordon is my most underrated player in the NBA. I think Jonathan Isaac's going to take another step. He's still young, developing. He's probably 2 years away from being 2 years away. The old Bruno Caballo saying. But they have guys that are just okay. They're good. Evan Fournier, he's okay. He's good. I love Aaron Gordon. And Jonathan Isaac, I think he'll improve. Mo Bamba, Nikola Vucevic. They have guys that can compete. And in a weak Eastern Conference, especially fringe playoff teams, I think they could compete a little bit.
They started hot last year, and then they completely
Exactly.
fizzled out.
Yeah. And my Magic season outlook,
Oh boy.
they're a fringe playoff team to me. Fringe.
Wow.
I'm high on the young talent, high on AG, and I like Steve Clifford. I
So-
really like Steve Clifford as
So
a
you're saying
coach.
they're
Hold
competing
on.
with the Pistons?
Hold on. Well, you haven't heard my Pistons prediction yet.
I'm scared.
I got them going 35 and 47.
30.
10-game improvement.
What?
10-game improvement, finishing 10th in Eastern Conference. So that
How is-
means I have
how-
them finishing
how is that a
above the
fringe-
Charlotte Hornets.
How is that a fringe playoff team if they're 10th?
A
Because
10-game
8th and 9th,
improvement.
that's a fringe.
I wouldn't say so.
I'd say fringe.
What
Okay,
is going?
fringe.
What is going to add those 10 games?
The East being not as good, the developed improvement of their young guys.
I think the top 8 of the East is
Coaching,
How-
I really
How
like Steve
much
Clifford.
better do you think these young guys are about to get?
I think people sleep. Aaron Gordon could be a pot. I think if they play well, Aaron Gordon might get some consideration for that All-Star game.
How good do you think Jonathan Isaac is going to be?
I think he'll be actually pretty good, but I don't not yet.
I think he's going to be solid.
Yeah.
But
All right, quickly because we only got a few minutes left.
wow.
How many
That's
wins?
a lot of hope in that
I know.
hopeless
I told-
organization.
I started with irrationally high. Did I not
Yeah.
say irrationally high?
Yeah.
What do you got for wins for Orlando?
29 and 53.
Okay, Malik.
I'm gonna go 22 wins.
Holy smokes!
That's a little low.
We'll-
You're
we'll
a little
see.
bit too
I know.
far.
We got maybe Joey's perfect in the middle.
Yeah.
Our
Actually,
last team,
26. 26.
26. Okay. Our last team, spend a little bit more time on these guys. The Washington Wizards. They finished 43 and 39 last year, 8th in the East. Key additions, your guy's favorite center in the NBA, Dwight Howard, Jeff Green, Austin Rivers, Troy Brown Jr., and they lost Mike Scott and Marcin Gortat. Are the Wizards trending up or down? I have them trending up. Slightly. Because I like Austin Rivers and Jeff Green. What you guys got?
I also have them trending slightly up. They're still going to be around that 4-5 area.
You think 4-5? They haven't been around 4-5 in a while. They finished 8 last year. I think they missed the playoffs the year before.
They missed the playoffs the year before last?
Yeah.
I thought
No,
they
2 years ago they missed the playoffs. They were 7th seed a year ago. So they were 8th seed last year, 7th seed the year prior, and then they missed the playoffs in 16.
Actually, I'll say they're in the 5-6 area. I think Kelly Oubre is only going to get better, and Dwight Howard is what they need.
I feel like Washington is just always hyped because of Wall and Beal, and they never produce.
And Wall was hurt all last year, so
Yeah, I think that'll be important is Wall's health.
So you got them trending up, Malik? Joe?
I think they're trending up. I agree that their backcourt is a little bit overhyped, but if Wall can stay healthy, they'll be the best team in this division.
Oh,
And
yeah.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Dwight Howard was an upgrade. We all know it. We showed the stats. Jeff Green, I think, is a pretty good sneaky pickup.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Austin Rivers,
I like him as a 6th man and like
But-
that injury insurance.
but Austin Rivers
Austin
as a
Rivers
backup
looks
is
good every 17th game.
it's good to have a backup behind Wall, especially with his health recently. So I think that's good security blanket for them. And I think they're going to be another one of those fringe playoff teams where they could be from 6 to 9 in the East.
Yeah. Can you see the Wizards moving Wall or Beal this season?
No.
No.
I think they're past the point of considering
Yeah.
trading one of them.
only if they fall way off the wagon. If
What is
they're-
considered way off the wagon?
if they're like running in the 9th or 10th spot for most of the season, I think then you would see it. If if they start pretty strong and towards the end they kind of start to fall off and maybe just miss the playoffs at the end, then I think they keep him around. But I think if they don't get off to a good start, then you might.
I think they would have done it by now if they were considering it.
And to me, I feel like that's such a seismic move. You'd have to wait to the offseason to do it right, at least.
True.
My Washington Wizards season outlook, once again, a fringe playoff team. They added some solid depth. Rivers, Green, Brown Jr. That's it. Not Dwight. Not sold on addition of Dwight and how that'll affect them heading into next season. I got them, once again, finishing 43-39, 7th in the Eastern Conference.
45-37, either 6th or 7th.
I'll give them 46 wins.
5th or 6th, around there. Yeah, I don't know, guys. You guys are too irrationally high on Dwight Howard. I'm sorry.
He's an upgrade over Marcin Gortat.
He is.
I'm not saying he's like
He's a perfect fit for what they need.
he's just
That's
he's
true.
a solid center that would work well with John Wall.
I can't wait for Dwight Howard to retire so I don't have to talk about him anymore. Well, that's the show.
Until the Hall of Fame ceremony.
Oh, you know, that's true. He is going to be a Hall of Famer. I'll give you that. He actually will be a Hall of Famer. Well, that's our show. Next week, we'll have another division. We'll break down more college football and pro football.
We'll decide if the Lions season is over or not.
Sammy D, baby. Let's go. See you guys next time.
Bye.
The Magic are a fringe playoff team. Really? Really?